Hello, DemMPLers. My name is Zach Racknerud, and I'm seeking your endorsement for the U.S. House race to take on Congressman Kelly Armstrong this November. I'm joining this race because I look out and I see a government and an economy that does not have the priorities of working people top of mind. A 2014 Princeton study found that the preferences of the average American appear to have a minuscule, near zero, statistically insignificant impact upon public policy. And when you look out at the economy as a whole today, that reality is clear. It's estimated that over half of American households are living paycheck to paycheck, just barely scraping by. Over 40% of American households would be completely done in by a surprise $400 expense. For a country whose middle class used to be the envy of the world, I find this unacceptable, and we need young and working people across this country to step up and enter Congress itself. That's how we enact change. And so I'm joining this race today to bring a set of policy positions that I believe will help the working class of this country that is being left behind more and more. American households and businesses today are spending twice as much per capita as every single one of our peer nations. Yet at the same time, 42 million Americans lack any sort of healthcare coverage whatsoever. 45 million more Americans are underinsured, facing premiums that are increasingly unaffordable and annual deductibles that are skyrocketing, keeping them away from the care that they need. As a result, 500,000 American households every single year are declaring bankruptcy, in part to medical costs. That is unacceptable to me in the wealthiest nation in history. We can do better. We have a great program today called Medicare that provides health care to our most vulnerable population and does so extremely well. We can expand Medicare to ensure that every single American has health care coverage. We can have a discussion and a debate over what the role of private health insurance should be, but that discussion should start at the baseline that every single American has some sort of health care coverage. And I'm confident that North Dakotans would agree with that. Americans today are leaving our higher education institutions and trade schools with tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, totaling $1.6 trillion total. This has been a result of broken federal policy. While it had good intentions, guaranteeing student loans to every single American created a broken incentive structure that resulted in the costs of higher education soaring out of control and placing the burden on students. And that, in my mind, is not right. We need to address higher education and job training in the same way that we do K through 12 public education as an investment in the people of this country and an investment in the country as a whole. We can do this by instituting a very modest 0.05% financial transactions tax on Wall Street. After their greed and fraud wiped out $13 trillion in American wealth of 401ks, pensions, mortgages, etc., it is high time that they help the American middle class achieve a higher education affordably. The United States today lags significantly behind in certain areas, such as paid maternity and paternity leave for new mothers and fathers who are adjusting to life as a family together, as well as paid sick leave for American workers who need to stay home and recover from their illness. We're the only developed nation on earth that doesn't guarantee these things in some form, and to me, that is unacceptable. And thankfully, we do have a way that we can address this. The great program of Social Security is one great avenue that we can take. Today, working Americans are paying on every single one of their paychecks their Social Security tax and their contribution, while at the same time, the wealthiest Americans stop paying a single dime into the program just minutes into the year. If we eliminate that taxable income cap and we say to the wealthiest Americans in this country that you will pay your Social Security tax on every check, just like every working American does, we can expand the program and we can include these sorts of things while also protecting its solvency well into the future. The United States can also make broad investments in our people through programs such as universal child care. Right now, American families are spending a significant portion of their income to give their child a quality place to be while they work. This can easily be paid for by a 2-cent wealth tax on hordes of wealth so gigantic that you can't even imagine spending it in multiple lifetimes, let alone one. And this would have a significant stimulating effect on the economy as Americans are able to pay less for quality childcare while also being able to expand their hours or possibly join the workforce altogether. In addition, we can make New Deal style infrastructure investments in this country at a time when the American Society of Civil Engineers gives our public infrastructure a grade of D+, which is unacceptable to me. And it is time that we put millions of Americans to work to rebuild this great nation and make it the envy of the world that it once was. We are also spending tens of billions of dollars fighting war on drugs that is causing us to incarcerate more of our people than any other nation on earth. We can instead take that savings and invest it in rehabilitation services that give Americans a chance to overcome their battle with addiction. And above all, we can publicly finance our election system to ensure that Congress has the priorities of working people top of mind. If we give every eligible voting American an elections dividend that they can contribute to candidates and political parties of their choice, it would revitalize our democracy at a time when voter participation is low. And it would have rippling effects throughout our government and our economy that I think would be positive, and ones that I think North Dakotans are more than on board with. So today, I'm once again asking for your support for the nomination and endorsement to take on Congressman Armstrong this November. I am confident that these policy positions will resonate with working families across this state, and I'm excited to have a chance to bring it to them and to say that we need to make these investments at a time when working families are struggling. So if you're able to, please consider making a contribution to our campaign. We are rejecting all corporate PAC money and having a campaign that's powered by people. So I thank you very much for your time and look forward to bringing these issues to the fight, and we're going to win.